After my fiancé slapped me in the face, I woke up to the plot and learned that I was actually a male villain. The heroine is the daughter of our nanny. Her kind and strong character deeply attracted me and made me develop feelings for her. However, in the plot, I did not die a good death because the heroine's family wealth was gone. I glanced at the heroine in my arms and the fiancé standing in front of me with glares, and thought to myself, between this plain heroine and the charming fiancé, I knew which one to choose with my eyes closed. The moment I saw Linda push Kelly into the water, I was almost mad. I rushed over to help Kelly up, and wiped the water drops off her face with heartache. When Linda saw that it was me, she pointed at my nose and cursed, "David. You bastard. Did you give my scholarship to Kelly?" I frowned and glanced at her. "Kelly is more hardworking and ambitious than you. Her family is not well off, so she needs this place more than you do." Kelly cried with red eyes, "Linda, your family is so rich, and losing a scholarship won't affect you at all. Why do you bully me?" Kelly's crying broke my heart, and I was in a panic to comfort her. Linda sneered as if she had heard something funny, and said in a mocking tone, "Kelly, do you have any shame? I am the first in my major. What's wrong with giving me this scholarship? What does it have to do with you whether my family is rich? This is a scholarship, not a grant. Who said that you can't get it if your family is rich?" Kelly was speechless after Linda's rebuttal and cried even more sadly in my arms. I don't know why, but I reached out and pushed Linda in annoyance, and she fell to the ground. Before she could react, I glared at her fiercely and threatened, "Apologize to Kelly. If you don't apologize today, we will cancel the engagement." Linda was stunned. The students who came to watch were also shocked. Kelly tugged at my sleeve, like a pitiful little rabbit. "David, don't get into a conflict with Linda because of me." I looked at the kind-hearted Kelly and confessed to her, "The person I like is you, a vicious and willful young lady like her." Bang! Before I could finish my words, Linda slapped me hard in the face. The whole audience was silent. I could no longer hear Linda's scolding and my classmates' noisy discussions, because I learned that I was the male villain and the most loyal bootlicker of the heroine Kelly. I wanted to cancel my engagement with Linda because of Kelly, and Linda's family was furious. Kelly's stepbrother Robert is the male protagonist. He and Kelly have always liked each other, but I didn't know it. I also helped Robert wholeheartedly for Kelly. With my help, he built his own business empire and became a new tech elite. On the day when Robert became successful, he turned to target David's family. I was careless and Kelly stole the company's confidential documents and fell into their trap, causing David's family to go bankrupt. My father couldn't accept the blow and committed suicide by jumping off a building. My mother went completely crazy and wandered the streets, and her whereabouts are unknown. I was forced to hide from debt collectors like a stray dog. Later, I was caught and sold to northern Myanmar, where I lived a life worse than death. It's really so miserable. I pulled myself out of the plot, looked at Kelly in my arms and Linda glaring at me, and felt like I was really blind. Kelly was still crying, and thinking about what she would do to me in the future. I pushed her away in annoyance. Linda's eyes turned red, and she spoke as if she had made up her mind. "Okay, since you want to break off the engagement for Kelly, I'll grant your wish." After saying that, Linda turned and left. I quickly caught up with her and said quickly, "No, I'm not breaking off the engagement." "What's the point of breaking off the engagement? I just had a brain seizure and said something nonsense." Linda's eyes flashed with joy, but she still touched my forehead tentatively with her hand. "David, if you are sick, go see a doctor." Kelly came forward and grabbed my hand, and said to Linda righteously, "Linda, how can you say that about David?" Then, she wiped her tears in front of me and showed a relieved expression. "David, you are worried that after you break up with Linda, she will bully me even more unscrupulously. You are so kind to do this for me. Linda has no ill intentions, she is just jealous that you like me. I will endure her bullying of me." Linda looked at me angrily, bit her lip and ran away. I had just finished explaining to Linda when Kelly hugged me around the waist and said, "David, even though I know you like me very much, I can't agree to be with you. I want to make myself better, work hard to make money, and let my mother live a good life." In the plot, Kelly also said the same thing, which moved me to tears. I always thought she was kind and strong. Although she didn't agree to be with me, she tried hard to make herself worthy of me. Kelly's mother was sick and hospitalized. I offered her money directly, but she always refused. I had no choice but to help her get the scholarship she had always dreamed of. I even secretly helped her pay the hospital bills, but she blamed me. David, don't do this again next time. I just want to rely on myself instead of accepting your money. She went looking for part-time jobs, but disliked those jobs because they were hard and the pay was low. She came to me crying many times. I felt so sorry for her that I arranged for her to join the David family. Even though she didn't have to do much work, she could still get the same salary as a regular employee. Kelly has barely even been to the company a few times. I smiled self-deprecatingly, took Kelly's hand off my waist, and asked her seriously, Kelly, do you like me? Kelly's eyes sparkled and she asked me, what's wrong, David? Am I being mean to you? I shook my head, turned around and walked away without looking back. I used to think Kelly was very nice to me. She often brought me homemade snacks. Later I found out that she was using me as a test subject. She thought I ate well, so she made them for Robert. At first, the food Kelly made was really unpalatable. Whenever I showed any expression that I couldn't eat it, Kelly would cry, I worked so hard to make this for you. I even burned my hands and got several blisters. You must finish it. I had no choice but to eat it. Several times I ate it until I had diarrhea and had to go to the hospital for an 4 drip. Kelly would also give me gifts, which were either free gifts from events or bought from roadside stalls. This stupid plot actually made me fall in love with Kelly, a woman who is both responsible and independent. Obviously, the person I loved the most before was Linda. I have liked her since I was a child, and my dream is to marry her. How sad she must have been during those days when I changed my mind. In the plot, after our David family went bankrupt, she helped take care of my father's funeral and went everywhere to look for my mother. She wanted to help me pay back the money, but I was too ashamed to face her again and didn't want to drag her down, so I scolded her and sent her away. On the day Linda got married to someone else, I hid in the dark and watched her exchange rings with someone else and watched her say she did. My little girl finally has her own happiness. I went to the academic affairs office to find the director and asked him to get Linda's scholarship back. Director Gao patted his head and said helplessly, Master David, although the dormitory buildings of our school were donated by your David family, you can't have the final say on this school. I crossed my legs and lazily leaned on the sofa, and replied to him nonchalantly, just tell me if Linda is the first in the major, and if those awards our school just won were all won by Linda? Director Gao raised the book in his hand and wanted to hit me on the head, but he held back. That's what I told you at the time, but you insisted on saying that Kelly's family was not well off and she worked hard, and the scholarship should be given to those who work hard. But look at her mediocre grades, she can't even get a scholarship if she waits in line. In the end, the scholarship was returned to Linda. The list of scholarship recipients was announced on the same day, and a congratulatory message was also published. In the classroom, Kelly's best friend Fanny rested her hands on her chin and looked at Kelly with envy. Kelly, I envy you so much for getting a scholarship. Our school has a lot of scholarships. Kelly raised the corners of her lips slightly to encourage Fanny, you can get it if you work hard, come on. When the other students heard this, they looked shocked. Linda sneered and said sarcastically, how did you get that scholarship? Don't you have any idea? With your terrible grades, you still have the nerve to ask others to work hard? Kelly covered her face and started crying. You were born to win in Rome. Your family sent you to all kinds of cram schools. No matter how hard I try, I can't compare to your results. The school will also gild rich people like you and let you win all kinds of awards, but I don't even qualify to compete. When Kelly cried, everyone instinctively stood on her side and asked Linda to apologize to Kelly. I walked over with a frown and sat on the table next to Linda. There are students in our class who have worse family conditions than you, and their grades are much better than yours. Are you sure that you are not qualified for the competition because the school does not want to send you to gild the gold, and not because you are not capable of participating in the competition? This was the first time in my 3 years of college that I helped Linda confront Kelly. Everyone was excited. Even Linda looked at me with disbelief and moved aside cautiously. Linda is on guard against me, and I feel a sour taste in my nose. Kelly's eyes widened, tears falling like beads from a broken string. David, did she threaten you with your family's cooperation? I know our family is not as rich as Linda's family, so it's only natural for you to help her slander me. But I didn't expect you to bow down for money. Aren't we best friends? I raised my eyebrows and said with a half smile, Linda and I are childhood sweethearts. She is my fiancée. If I don't help her, who else can I help? Also, apart from Linda, I don't have any friends of the opposite sex. Don't say anything that might cause my fiancé to misunderstand. At this point, everyone's jaw dropped. Just when the atmosphere was tense, someone rushed in and shouted, "The scholarship list is out, and the person who won the scholarship in our class is Linda." What the hell? Kelly kept bragging for so long that I thought the scholarship was really hers. Kelly stood up in panic and ran towards the bulletin board downstairs, and many people followed her downstairs. Linda had a complicated expression on her face. She was silent for a while before she spoke. Why? I held her hand and said solemnly, "If I told you that I fell in love with Kelly because someone bewitched me, would you believe it?" Linda pulled her hand away and tapped my head. "If you are sick, go see a doctor immediately. Today is Friday." As soon as I stepped out of the school gate after class, I was punched in the face. Robert waved his fist and tried to hit me in the face, but I kicked him away. I wiped the blood from the corner of my lips and hissed in pain. Robert got up from the ground and yelled at me angrily, "Why did you take Kelly's scholarship away and give it to your fiancé? Is it great to be rich and powerful?" I glanced at him with clear contempt and disdain in my eyes. "Her scholarship? Shame on you." Kelly ran over from a distance, crying, "Brother, forget it, we can't beat them, I don't want this scholarship anymore." This Kelly is the heroine in a sad novel, crying all the time. I tugged at the clothes that Robert had just wrinkled and said disdainfully, "You don't want it? You can't get it." Kelly cried even louder, "David, I don't know what Linda said to you to do this to me. You clearly know that the scholarship is my mother's life-saving money, but you still went to the dean to put pressure on her and gave the scholarship to Linda. Do you want my mother to die? Linda is the daughter of the Linda family group, and this scholarship is not even enough for her meal, but you." Kelly fainted in Robert's arms before she could finish her words. Robert was so anxious that he picked up Kelly and stopped a taxi nearby. He looked at me as if he wanted to eat me up. "If anything happens to my sister, I will peel off a layer of your skin." I narrowed my eyes slightly and watched the taxi go away. Kelly is kind and hardworking? Sorry, I can't see that at all after I woke up. I don't know who posted the video of Robert and I fighting in front of the school and Kelly crying online, which caused heated discussion. By the time I saw this video, it had already become popular. Linda and I's identities and backgrounds were clearly exposed by netizens, and voices calling for a boycott of David and Linda's family products appeared online. The indignation of netizens caused fluctuations in the stocks of David's and Linda's families. Linda was sent to our house by her father to discuss a solution. When Linda came to my house, I was leaning against the head of the bed playing games. She snatched my phone away and stamped her feet in anger. "You've been scolded like a dog, and you still have the mood to play games here." I put my arm around her shoulders and asked her to sit down. I also poured her a glass of water and said, "Calm down. This is not a big deal." Linda gulped down a big gulp of water and put the cup down heavily. "Isn't this a big deal? The dean just called me and said he was going to cancel my scholarship. My phone number is about to explode with complaints. Your David family is going to launch a new product soon. After this incident, can your new product still be sold?" I pinched her face like I did when we were kids, but she pushed me away. I comforted her, "Don't worry, let the bullet fly for a while." Linda was puzzled, and I didn't say much and took her to the restaurant for dinner. My mother was very happy to see Linda and I reconcile. She cooked many of Linda's favorite dishes herself. I thought about the scene in the plot where I brought Kelly home and my parents' cold faces. Because of Kelly, my relationship with my parents has reached freezing point. What a bastard. As soon as I got to school on Monday, I was stopped by Robert and Kelly. He gave me an order in a high-handed manner: "As long as you return the scholarship to Kelly, I will delete the video online." I raised my chin slightly, not wanting to bother with this idiot. But he thought I was scared, and continued, "The power of netizens is strong. Now even the school is withholding Linda's scholarship. I guess it's not easy for you, David's family and Linda's family." As expected of a future tech upstart, he even took this into account. Kelly bit her lip and said aggrievedly, "David, you promised me that you would give me the scholarship, why did you go back on your word? Linda has received so many scholarships, why can't you give me one just once?" I glanced at Linda, who was secretly recording the video in the dark, and said calmly, "Robert knows that you can't get a scholarship with your poor grades, so he wants to use this method to threaten me. I paid for your mother's medical expenses, and your tuition was funded by our family. You got a part-time job in our David family and got paid more than 5,000 yuan a month for nothing. Why do you insist on getting a scholarship? The point is that you don't deserve it. Kelly was swaying and would have fallen to the ground if Robert hadn't held her up. Her face was pale, which made her look even more pitiful. I work so hard, why can't I get a scholarship? Scholarships must be given to rich people. I almost laughed out loud, the corners of my mouth raised with sarcasm. You work hard? What do you work hard for? Being late for class? Scholarships are not given to those who work hard, but to those who have good grades. Because if someone has good grades, it must mean that they have put in more effort than you. Kelly couldn't accept me talking to her like that, and her tears were about to burst out. Robert was so angry that he raised his fist at me and threatened me. David, I warn you, if you don't give this scholarship to Kelly, I will bring disgrace to your David family and Linda family. I was really amused, and there was a hint of playfulness in my voice. Since Kelly wants to work so hard, I will not pay the hospital fees anymore, and our David family will also suspend your support. As for the part-time job, our David family does not support idle people. Kelly, you keep claiming to be a kind and hardworking student, but you seduce me into paying you so much money and you accept it with a clear conscience. Is this what you call hard work? After saying that, I walked around them and left quickly. The video secretly filmed by Linda and Kelly's transcript were posted online. Also uploaded were Linda's first place in her major and the various awards she had won. I arranged for teachers and classmates at school to reveal Kelly's true situation in the comments, and controlled the comments to push down the internet trolls arranged by Robert. The situation reversed in an instant. Using videos to create public opinion is not only for them, but also for me. Use magic to defeat magic, it's that simple. Many netizens are saying that Kelly and Robert are shameless. Isn't this obvious blackmail? I've seen poor people, but I've never seen anyone so self-righteous in her poverty. Is it because she's poor that everyone has to give in to her? This woman is so teary and just knows how to cry. I don't think she got this scholarship by crying. It's really hilarious. Kelly didn't even dare to go back to school. In order to repair my relationship with Linda, I drove around half the city to buy her favorite cake after class. The gift I bought for her arrived 2 days ago. It was a custom necklace she had always wanted. I went back to my large flat near the school to pick it up. As soon as I entered the room, I saw Kelly coming out of the room wearing a sling. I slapped my forehead hard, almost dying of anger at my own stupidity. At that time, Kelly cried in my ear and said that the people in the dormitory were ostracizing her and she couldn't stay there anymore. I knew this was a good opportunity to develop a relationship with her, so I moved in with her. In the plot, I found out that after Robert and Kelly liked each other, he had evil thoughts about Kelly and almost raped her. Kelly was rescued by Robert, who came rushing over, and that was when I became completely evil. It's disgusting just thinking about it. I quickly took out a cigarette, lit it, and took a deep puff to calm myself. When Kelly saw me, her eyes quickly turned red. When she threw herself into my arms, I reflexively moved away, trying to avoid touching her. Kelly felt even more wronged by my avoidance. Her eyes dimmed and she complained at the top of her lungs, "Is it because I didn't agree to be with you that you turned your love into hatred for me? David, I've told you many times that I don't agree to you because I don't think I'm worthy of you. Isn't it good for us to be together when I become better?" I blew out a puff of smoke and raised my eyelids lazily. "Are you using me as a backup?" Kelly's face froze. When she saw the cake in my hand, she showed a surprised expression. "David, you really like me after all. You bought my favorite cake." As he said that, he came over and took the cake from my hand. Before I knew it, the cake was in her hands. I said coldly with a sullen face, "Give it back to me." Kelly lowered her head and fiddled with the cake, not noticing the coldness in my tone. I walked up to her and reached for the cake. Suddenly I saw the necklace on her neck and felt inexplicably familiar. I grabbed her wrist and looked at her fiercely. "Who told you to wear it?" Kelly was frightened by me. She struggled to get me to let go, saying coquettishly, "David, you're pinching me so hard it hurts." I applied a little more force to Kelly's hand, and her face turned pale with pain. She was frightened and begged for mercy. "David, if you have anything to say, let me go first and let's talk it out, okay?" The look in my eyes when I looked at Kelly was cold and without any compassion. After a moment's silence, I let go of her hand. She rubbed her wrist that was red from my pinch and stretched it in front of me. David, look, you have really strong hands. I was too lazy to talk nonsense with her, so I asked her for the necklace with my palm facing up. Take it off. Kelly covered her chest defensively. Isn't this something you gave me? I couldn't bear her stubborn look, so I wanted to take off the necklace myself. Kelly fell on the sofa while dodging, and I fell down with her. Light footsteps came from the door. Just as I was about to look up, Kelly under me quickly pulled off her suspender pajamas and shouted, David, David, don't do this, woo woo woo. My collar was grabbed from behind. I turned around and a fist hit me in the face without mercy. Same force, same position. It's Robert. His eyes were full of murderous intent, and he wished he could torture me to death. Kelly hid in his arms and cried like a flood, Brother, David gave me a cake and a necklace and confessed his love to me. I didn't want to agree, but he threatened me with my mother's medical expenses. He also told me. Although Kelly's words were incoherent, Robert and I understood what she said. Robert picked up a stool nearby and threw it at me. I didn't have time to dodge and the stool hit my shoulder, hurting me so much that I almost suffocated. Robert was about to hit me a second time, but I was faster than him and swung the vase on the table and smashed it on his head. Blood flowed down his forehead drop by drop. Kelly was terrified and screamed. I then noticed Linda behind Robert. My heart skipped a beat and I opened my mouth to explain to her, Linda, it's not what you see. I didn't do that to her. Before I could finish my words, I was caught off guard and pushed to the ground by Robert. He hit me hard and I didn't want to be outdone, so I wrestled with him. Linda ran over and tried to pull Robert away, but was stopped by Kelly. David wants to rape me, how can you help him? Linda slapped Kelly in the face, and Kelly was so shocked that she stood there in a daze. Robert saw Kelly being beaten out of the corner of his eye, stood up and raised his hand to hit Linda, but I stopped him. My eyes were gloomy, and I gritted my teeth and said, Damn it, you dare to touch my woman, you are tired of living. Robert gently stroked Kelly's chest which was red from my scratching, and the madness in his eyes could not be concealed. I should be the one saying this. If you treat Kelly like this, I will kill you. I pulled the corners of my lips, but there was no smile in my eyes. You said I raped her, do you have evidence? She was wandering around my house dressed like this, and I haven't even said she seduced me, but you guys are the first to complain. Kelly frantically grabbed Robert's hand and explained, I have always lived in this house. I didn't know he would come back. I laughed out loud, come on, this is my house, how dare you still live here? What? You want to marry into our David family and become a young lady? Dream on. Also, the necklace you're wearing was bought by me for my fiancée, with her name on it. I also bought her a cake with a card inside that said I love her. Who the hell do you think you are? You keep saying that I used this to confess my love to you. You're really ugly but you think beautifully. Taking something without asking is stealing. This necklace is not cheap, just call the police and let them make the decision. By the way, I have cameras installed in my house, I can. The more I talked, the paler Robert's face turned, and Kelly was shaking so much. She hugged Robert's arm and cried miserably, Brother, let's go. Now that I've said this, Robert is not a fool. He glanced at Kelly with an unclear expression, pulled his arm out of her hand, and left first. No need to guess, Robert and Linda must have been called by her. Kelly saw Robert leave without looking back, and she wanted to follow him, but I stopped her. Give me back the necklace, and your things, take them away quickly. Kelly bit her lower lip, tears welling up in her eyes. Why didn't I notice that she was so fond of crying before? She took off the necklace, packed up her things silently, and walked up to me, her eyes red and swollen, her voice still crying. I know my family is not well off and I have no money. It's normal for you to treat me as a plaything. Roll. Linda, who had been silent, couldn't stand it anymore, so she took her suitcase and Kelly out of the door and slammed it shut. I picked up the deformed cake on the ground, sighed and threw it into the trash can. Linda walked over to the sofa and sat down, pointing to the seat opposite her. Tell me, why have you changed so much? I knew I couldn't avoid this question, so I scratched my hair and briefly told Linda about my awakening. Linda frowned and propped her chin up as if thinking, You mean, you like Kelly because you are controlled by the plot? I nodded desperately to prove my innocence. Linda cheered and threw herself on me, her eyes smiling into two crescents. I knew my brother David would never want me. When she finished speaking, Linda's voice choked up. She buried her head in my arms, her shoulders shaking, and she cried silently. I felt really bad too and hugged her tightly. After Linda calmed down, I canceled Kelly's fingerprint and changed the password. Linda and I were both uncomfortable with this house, so I called my dad and asked him to sell it. We don't have many classes this year as we are seniors, so I plan to go to the company to learn from my dad and take over the company in advance. Due to my awakening, the plot line has almost collapsed. I want to see how Robert can build his business empire without my help. Without my support, I heard that Kelly is not doing well at all. Now that she is a senior in college, she has no choice but to go out and look for a job. She has been trying to keep me hanging for the past 3 years. She failed several subjects in her major, didn't know anything when she went to the interview, and after finally finding a job, she complained that the salary was too low. And now that she is famous on the internet, many companies don't want her. Later, Linda told me that Kelly was dating a rich second-generation guy named Andy. Andy's family is the sworn enemy of our David family. In the previous life, it was their family that joined forces with Robert to bring us down. Andy is not like me, who is swayed by the plot and willing to give anything for Kelly. He just got together with Kelly to annoy me because he heard that I liked Kelly. He just treated Kelly as a plaything. Kelly was very brave and capable. She actually stole the secrets of Andy's family group and sold them to other companies, but I secretly bought them. I suppressed Andy's family without mercy, and Andy came to his senses and wanted to send Kelly to jail, but he couldn't find any evidence. Before Andy's family declared bankruptcy, Andy ruined Robert's small company and angrily drove his car into Kelly. Kelly became lame, Andy was sent to jail, and Robert was in debt and was overwhelmed by debt collectors. They even sold their house. Kelly followed Robert to do the dirtiest and most tiring work, and she no longer looked as pitiful as before. After a period of calm, the hospital called me and said, "David, something has happened. Kelly's mother said she won't be able to see you today, and she wants to jump off the building and commit suicide." I stared at my phone in silence. In order not to cause trouble to our David family, I had to take the car keys and go to the hospital. There were a lot of people outside Kelly's mother's ward. Her mother had one foot outside the windowsill, looking like she was about to jump down at any moment. I whispered to the dean, "Did you call the police?" The dean nodded. Kelly knelt in front of her mother and cried until she was hoarse. "David has always funded my mother's medical expenses. I am especially grateful to him. He has always wanted me to be his girlfriend, but I didn't agree, so he cut off my mother's hospital fees and asked the company to fire me. Without money to pay, the hospital refused to treat my mother. Since David chose to help me, why didn't he help me to the end? My mother couldn't live anymore and was forced to jump off the building. How could David be so cruel?" I pushed through the crowd and walked in, impatiently asking, "Tell me, what do you want me to do?" Kelly thought I was scared, so she looked at her mother, stood up and stated the conditions. "You have to pay my mother's hospital bills first. That's what you promised me. And your David family cannot stop supporting me. Give me $5 million and my previous job at the David family, and I want to continue to go to work." Seeing that she was serious, I asked with a smile, "Can I give you the position of the young mistress of the David family as well?" Kelly was stunned for a while before she replied in surprise, Do you want to propose to me?" I put away my smile, found a chair and sat down, eyes full of contempt. "Put your pillow higher when you sleep at night, maybe it will come true in your dream." Kelly's smile instantly fell, as if she hadn't expected me to tease her. She took a deep breath and said aggrievedly, "Although you don't propose to me, I still love you. You must agree to the above conditions, otherwise my mother will die and you will never have peace in your life." It seemed that she didn't understand what I meant, so I explained word by word. "What I said is, I won't give you anything." Kelly's tears immediately welled up in her eyes. I really admired her and understood the meaning of the phrase "women are made of water." Kelly's mother put her foot down and stepped onto the windowsill again, which scared the nurse so much that she wanted to help her up quickly. Her mother shouted, "If anyone dares to come over, I will jump down immediately. I don't want to live anymore. What's the point of living like this? I might as well just die." The crowd was scolding me for being cruel. The David family is the richest company here, and they always talk about doing charity, but now there are people here who need help and they are unwilling to help them. The man was about to jump off the building, but the David family just stood by and watched. I will never buy anything from a company that takes advantage of others' misfortunes. They talked louder and louder, and Kelly gave me a barely perceptible smug smile. She thought I was being held captive. She underestimated me. I waved my hands at everyone and said, "Everyone, Kelly is already a senior this year. What is the David family going to give her? 5 million? How many people can't earn this much in their entire lives? Is she asking for too much? Can't she use the money she earns from work to treat her mother's illness? If she doesn't have money now, she can borrow it. There are many ways. Does she really like to be a beggar? David family is a business, not a charity. If you want a job, you can fight for it yourself. David family welcomes every capable person to join equally. Kelly, you want others to give you things as a scapegoat, and then you cry when they don't give you things. You even say your mother committed suicide to gain sympathy. What does this mean? There are many people in the hospital who are in a more difficult situation than your family. They have much more dignity than you do. I felt a little thirsty after saying so much, so the dean handed me a bottle of water at the right time. The police and firefighters came and tried to persuade Kelly's mother. The onlookers were in an uproar, accusing Kelly and his mother of being unkind. Kelly's mother's foot was so conflicted that she didn't know whether to retract it or leave it there. The police were still persuading her, and Kelly's mother was trembling and trying to get down, but Kelly rushed over to stop her mother. "No. You can't get down. David hasn't done what he promised me. David, I promised to be with you. Can we get married?" She kept muttering, "I am the heroine, David, I am the heroine. If you marry me, you will be the hero of this world and you can have everything." I chuckled twice and said firmly, "I will never marry you in this life, so give up on this idea." Kelly didn't expect me to refuse so bluntly, and she started to go crazy. Kelly's mother tried to pull her away, but she pushed her away. The push was so powerful that Kelly's mother screamed and fell down. By the time the firefighters rushed to the rescue, it was too late and Kelly was caught. When Robert received the news, Kelly had already gone to the detention center. The person pushed down by Kelly was actually Robert's mother. Robert's mother and Kelly's father are a blended family. Kelly's father died in a car accident 2 years ago. Kelly cried and begged Robert to issue a letter of apology, and Robert agreed. He took Kelly out of jail and held a funeral for his mother. Not long after, the assistant told me that Robert was deceived by Kelly and taken to northern Myanmar. Kelly couldn't stand the hard life of being forced to pay back debts all day long, so she teamed up with debt collectors to lure Robert, who was ambitious, to northern Myanmar with a high salary. Not long after Robert was deceived, Kelly was arrested on suspicion of human trafficking. When I went to the prison to see Kelly, she stared at me viciously as if she wanted to eat me. "Did you have the same dream as me? You are the one who deserves to die, and you are the one who deserves to be sold to northern Myanmar." I looked at her crazy appearance and felt relieved. "I'm so good to you, how do you treat me? You like Robert, why do you keep me as a backup? I dealt with Robert, and you treated me as a vicious male partner and made me die a miserable death. What did I do wrong?" Kelly shook her head. "No, that's not the case. I'm the heroine and you're the vicious male supporting role. You should not have a good ending." I sneered. "What about Robert? He was so good to you, why did you have the heart to sell him out?" "Kelly, just admit it, there is no one more selfish than you. I now suspect that the brainless and arrogant author is you. In order to highlight the halo of your heroine, you chose Robert as your hero and portrayed Linda and me as despicable villains. In fact, we did nothing wrong. Letting you fall into the plot is the best punishment for you." Kelly covered her ears and kept saying, "No, it's not like that. I'm the heroine, I'm the author, I can control the plot." I got Kelly out of prison and sent her to northern Myanmar, and exchanged Robert back. Many videos of Kelly being abused were sent back from northern Myanmar. Robert took a look at them and had no reaction. Later Robert left the city and never came back. I married Linda. The marriage between the David family and the Linda family formed a powerful alliance and took the business empire to a new level.